Predicting the first game of the Premier League, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Friday night under the lights at Anfield. It's going to be absolutely massive, and it's a massive opportunity for both sides to start off their Premier League campaign in a huge, exciting way. Make sure you subscribe, leave your comments down below, give me some score predictions, Liverpool versus Bournemouth. The opening game of the season, I had to talk about it because it's so exciting. Liverpool on one level looking at trying to retain the Premier League title for the first time ever in their history. They haven't retained the league title for close to 45 years, I think it is, which is a massive thing for a club like Liverpool to have not retained the Premier League title. And it does take you into a different kind of discussion. If you win it once off, you're kind of in the Blackburns, the Leicester Cities, maybe a couple of the Chelsea sides. You're in that kind of discussion, maybe Arsenal as well. But if you win 2 in a row, 3 in a row, and there's no reason Liverpool couldn't, by the way, particularly if they keep adding transfers up until the deadline of the summer transfer window, then you start to look at legacy. Then you start to look at dynasties in the Premier League. And Arne Slot, certainly, if he was to go on to retain the Premier League in his second season, would be unbelievable for his record and for where Liverpool are going in the long term as well. It could start off a brand new kind of era of domination from Liverpool in English football. And that's why it's such a big campaign. You don't want to just win one league title. With the quality Liverpool have got, you don't want it to be a one-hit wonder. I feel Liverpool are massive favourites. On my prediction video, I have put Liverpool as strong contenders. The big one for me would be that Arsenal got Manchester United. I'll be talking about that on the channel later on as well. But ultimately, if Arsenal were to crazily drop points there against Manchester United, which could happen, it really could, Man City have got a few issues. Donnarumma could be coming in for Ederson. I still think the right-back situation might be an issue. Potential injury to Rodri still occurring in that side. Liverpool can go into this campaign basically with a fully fit squad, and they can just get maximum points in the first 3 or 4 weeks. That puts massive pressure on Man City and Arsenal as it is, particularly if Gyökeres maybe struggles to find form. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but actually Liverpool go in. That's why I put them as favourites, because they have the least amount of work to do going into this Premier League campaign. They don't need to figure out what's going to happen to Salah. They don't need to figure out if they should play Van Dijk with Konate. The options are there. We can debate if they've got a deep enough squad to challenge on multiple fronts, to be winning trebles and doubles. These are discussions for further on in the campaign. But right now, one game a week. Liverpool going to this game against Bournemouth really, really strong. I know they lost to Crystal Palace in the Community Shield, but some really amazing moments of link-up play between Ekitike and Florian Wirtz, which is a ringing endorsement. It wasn't Salah who had a great performance at Wembley, which he rarely does, to be honest, anyway. It was Ekitike I thought was fantastic. I thought his Wirtz was fantastic. Curtis Jones knocked up an unbelievable amount of passing and controlling that midfield as well. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Frimpong as well. So it says that Arne Slot has got these signings, got this backing in the summer, and he's actually kicked on and got these players playing to the level that he wants already on some level. He's improving these guys. They're linking up very, very well. They have a great understanding. Some of the interchange, some of the play between these guys, first-time touches between Ekitike and Florian Wirtz, that's a very, very big ringing endorsement for what Arne Slot's building. Imagine this Liverpool side going forward, maybe with more players in that squad as well, with more confidence, with more form. It's going to be scary for the rest of the Premier League. They don't have much to tweak, basically, is the point I'm trying to make. Ultimately, they come up against a side that their back line absolutely decimated. Dean Huijsen was outstanding last season. Kepa was decent. I'm not a huge fan of Kepa, but he was decent. Obviously, Kerkez has gone to Liverpool. He was probably the best left-back in the Premier League alongside Ait Nuri and Robinson at Fulham. And then you look at Zabani, who was on some level, I think a lot of people are actually saying he was better than Huijsen last season. He's gone to PSG. He was absolutely outstanding. He was a Rolls Royce of a centre-back. Just as good on the ball. He was robust. He was athletic. I mean, he's now a Champions League level centre-back for the best club in world football. And the other guy's gone to Real Madrid. And the other guy's gone to Liverpool. That is a ringing endorsement for what Iraola was doing with Bournemouth last season, getting them into a top-half finish just behind the likes of Brighton. And they could have been pushed on to European football maybe if they weren't so decimated with injuries at a large part of last season. Their away form, for Liverpool to be looking a little bit concerned if they had to be, is decent. They knocked up I think 28 points away from home last season, which is solid. Picked up a massive win against Arsenal at the back end of last season. And if you look at those goals, a big use of physicality. Huijsen obviously not there anymore. He scored in the game. But hoisting balls into the box, being robust, being physical. Iraola likes his side to play a dynamic brand of football. We obviously expect that. Him being a Spanish manager, him being a manager of the caliber that he is. But ultimately, this Bournemouth side could ruffle a few feathers at Anfield. Long throws, corners, free kicks, and there could be a little bit more route one. That could cause a little bit of an issue to the Liverpool back line, who are still getting used to each other. Not a major issue, of course not, particularly with Van Dijk and Konate being fit, and Alisson between the sticks, who I'm still a huge fan of. I think he's great in the air, Alisson. I think he's very commanding. The big one would be, if you're going to really pick holes in this Liverpool back line of how they could drop points if they were to Bournemouth, would be Frimpong against Semenyo, who I think for some people the best left winger in the Premier League last season, arguably, was Semenyo. He could have been your team of the season justifiably so. Powerful, leggy, he can just get away from you with sheer pace, got a great finish on him. He said in interviews that he's disappointed about his finishing last season, that he wants to work on it. Signed a massive contract with Bournemouth, which is that one kind of shining light, because if he'd gone, then you're looking at Bournemouth as like, could they get relegated with that side? Seriously. Utara could be going to Brentford. He looks like he'll be starting against Liverpool. That front line still looks very, very exciting and very, very dangerous. So if you're Frimpong, your first game in the Premier League is against Semenyo. I mean, he's one of the best left wingers in the Premier League. There's no question about it. Very, very tall, powerful, physical, cutting in on his right foot. It's going to be interesting to see how Liverpool deal with that, particularly without Gravenberch, who I actually feel gives them so much more security, even on the ball. The amount of turnover that you're going to get with Gravenberch and McAllister is very, very low. And you feel that the opportunity to counter-attack Liverpool is far less with Gravenberch. Obviously, he's serving a suspension from the back end of last season, missed the Community Shield for personal reasons, but you feel that Liverpool can get away with it at home for one game. For me, there's an argument between Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones to play alongside Alexis McAllister. For me, it'd be Curtis Jones. He just keeps the ball a little bit better, doesn't try too many risky moves on the ball. And I think Curtis Jones and McAllister can get through this game in a big, big way. And then you have to talk about the kind of elephant in the room. I think it's Mohamed Salah, who's just come off arguably his greatest ever individual season. When he first came to the Premier League, maybe statistically slightly better in terms of goals, maybe in a better Liverpool side as well in terms of Mane and all these other guys around him, a younger Van Dijk. But ultimately, last season, the amount of assists, the amount of link-up play with other players, he gave an unbelievable pedestal to the likes of Gakpo, Diaz, of course, Jota himself, Núñez even. I mean, Salah just created so many chances for other people, and that's where we question Núñez, we question Diaz, their finishing ability in particular. I think Salah, all he has to do is put something on a plate for Ekitike, and I think he'll be scoring in the game. So I think Salah's got a huge role to play. These kind of games at home, opening game, I mean, people will be absolutely gassed up for it. I think Mohamed Salah usually rises to these kind of games. We can question his form at Wembley. Community Shield, is it a real game or not? That's a big debate. But in this kind of game, expect Salah to score, get an assist. Ekitike gets a couple. And I feel that Liverpool are going to do a lot of damage to Bournemouth. I think it's probably the worst possible trip for Bournemouth to start off the Premier League campaign. Not a bad thing. Sometimes you want them out of the way early and they can build into the side, into the season, particularly with the transfer window still open. You feel that Bournemouth could do maybe a little bit more business. Ultimately, if Bournemouth picks up a win here, it would blow the Premier League, you'd feel, open so early. And I think it's exceptionally unlikely. I'm actually going 3-0 Liverpool. Leave your comments down below. Leave your predictions. It's a massive way to start off the Premier League campaign. I'll see you very, very soon.